Hey everybody, how you doing? Joe McCall here from Wholesaling Lease Options, Automated Wholesaling, and the Real Estate Investing Mastery Podcast, the #1 real estate investing podcast, in my opinion, right? I got something really cool to share with you here. I'm going to walk through my brand new automated wholesaling signature system. And my goal through showing you this and teaching this system is show you how you can replace your income or make 6 figures a year literally within the next 3 months while working from Prague, if you want to, okay? So I'm going to be walking through a lot of things here. We got a lot to cover, and I'm going to be doing something different that I've not really done before, and I'm hoping this works, so we'll see. I have a handout here for you, and I want you to download it. If you click on the button down below this video, or you go to joemccall.com/handout, you're going to get a handout that looks like this. And it's about 6 or 7 pages. And as I go through these diagrams, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. And I'm going to be drawing things out. And I'd like you, if you want, to print this handout out and go ahead and draw these things with me. Because my goal is, after you watch these series of videos, you're going to be walking away with some insights and actions that you can actually start implementing tonight, okay? Or first thing in the morning, depending on when you're watching this. But I want you to actually learn something valuable from this, take something home with you, and if you want my help, great, all right? But this handout's going to help you, and I've got a lot to, I'm even going to help you come up with a marketing plan here, okay? So download this case study by the button down below, or go to joemccall.com/handout, joemccall.com/handout, and get this handout, because I'm going to be drawing things, and I really would like you to follow along. It's going to be really, really good. All right, so as an introduction, I want to ask you some questions first of all, okay? How many hours a week are you currently working in your real estate investing business right now? Think about it, okay? I mean, be honest with yourself. Are you spending most of your time studying? Are you spending most of your time analyzing deals or figuring out what the next steps are? Are you actually spending time doing the things that matter most, like making offers, talking to sellers, doing the marketing, right? So how many hours a week right now are you spending in your real estate investing business? I want to ask you also, how much are you currently making per month right now in real estate? Be honest with yourself. On average, over the last year, how much have you made per month? And then the third question is, how much do you want to make per month? How much do you want to make per month? And what I'd like you to do is think about this, and what is the difference between those two numbers? All right? Most people, when I talk to them, they're making anywhere from maybe 0 deals a month to 1 deal a month, maybe making a few grand, but their goal is to make at least 10 grand. Most people say 10 grand. A lot of people say 20 as well. So what's the gap for you right in there? Is it $10,000, $20,000 a month? I want you to start thinking about these things and answer these questions, because it's going to be helpful for you. Now, how many of you are struggling right now with systems and tools and you don't know what to use? There's so much out there. You're confused. You're overwhelmed. You're stuck in analysis of paralysis. How many of you can you relate to that, okay? I know I could as well. And I'm going to share with you a lot of things in this mind map. First of all, this is Ronnie Jones. Ronnie is one of my clients, and we actually work together in the same city. And it's just such a cool guy. He called me up and said, Joe, I'd like some help learning how to wholesale. He had a couple other businesses already. I knew by talking to him, he was a very good systems guy. And this was his first deal, made $25,000 on his first deal. And this is in my backyard in one of our most competitive zip codes. But the reason I brought this up is I wanted to read this text message real quick for you. It says here, hey, Joe, it's been a while since we talked. I get calls periodically. Okay, it says, the reason I'm contacting you is because I closed on another property today. I've closed on many properties, so that isn't too surprising. But what is notable about this close is that I am in Oregon a month into a 2-month RV trip out west. And it was about 1.5 years ago when I stumbled upon a podcast where this crazy guy was talking about flipping properties while on an RV trip. So I just wanted to send a nice message to say thanks and keep on keeping on. Now, those of you that don't know, twice in the last 4 years, my family, my wife, my 4 kids, and I have gone to Prague in the Czech Republic for 3 months. And we've stayed there, traveled around Europe, and we did deals while living in Prague. Twice we've done that. And a couple years ago, we took a 3-month RV trip around the northwestern corner of the United States. And if you've been listening to my podcast or following me for some time, you've heard me talk about that before, okay? So I'm now getting some of my students and friends doing the same thing, and it's awesome. You're able, if you can wholesale deals in your backyard right now, without seeing the house, without talking to the sellers, without talking to the buyers, why can't you do that while traveling around the world? All right, I want to tell you about Russ here. He says, my why, he says, we're taking an 8-week, 2 months family vacation this year, traveling around the U.S. in a motorhome. He just deposited a $15,000 wholesale fee in his self-directed IRA. His wife just signed a contract to sell a rehab at a $57,000 profit yesterday. Those funds will deposit while we are in Yellowstone next month. She's on a truck stop in West Texas, printing closing docs to buy a foreclosure at this moment. Other deals are in the works. Thanks, Joe McCall, for the inspiration. I'm in the middle of your virtual wholesaling course and loving life. And here he is at a campground, right? See, here's the deal. Guys, if you can do 1 deal a month, there's no reason why you can't do 8. And if you can flip properties in 1 market, there's no reason why you can't flip properties in 8 markets, right? What other business in the world can you flip a house that you've never seen, from a seller that you've never met, in a city that you've never been to, from a buyer that you've never talked to? Well, it's all comes down to 3 things: marketing, automation, and delegation, okay? And so I could talk and talk all day long, show you tons of pictures of all of our trips around the world, the RV that we have, and how we've gone around the world, and it's been just a blast, and I love helping people do the same thing. I first created this automated wholesaling system while I was in Prague, recently updated it, and now I'm coaching students all over the world on how to do deals in the United States, whether it's wholesaling, traditional wholesaling, or lease options, or even land flips. We can help you right now create an automated wholesaling business where you can flip properties from anywhere in the world. All right, so let's buckle in. Let's get in here and look at my mind map. Now, so I'm going to show you some really cool things, and I'm going to offer to help you at the end, okay? I'm going to give you the opportunity to work closely with me, but relax, guys. Listen, put away your wallet. You couldn't even pay me today if you wanted to, all right? So just get that handout, print it out, get a pencil, and if you got some colored crayons also, I'm going to color some things for you, and you'll see why here in a minute. But you couldn't even sign up today if you wanted to. I'm going to help you by actually helping you, and I'm going to give you a lot of value. And at the end, I'm going to say, listen, if you want my help, schedule a call with me. Let's talk, okay? All right, now let's just dive in. This is the automated wholesaling signature system. And now if you go to your handout, go to this page here, you're going to look at the automated wholesaling signature system model. I'm trying to come up with a shorter name, and I want to show you some things on how this works, okay? All right, so the way this model works is from the inside. It starts with the why, okay? Comes out to the what, then to the how. Okay, from the why to the what to the how, all right? And I'm going to walk through here real quick. Now, for me, my why is my vision. I talk about this a lot, right? You know, we need to have a vision for our life first, and then design a business around that. So many of us have it backwards, right? We have our business, our job, and life just kind of fits in around that. Well, what if we reversed that and lived our vision first and then designed a business that worked around that? When we first got started in the wholesaling business, I knew I wanted to travel, right? We wanted to have kids. My wife and I talked about, well, if we're going to have kids and if we're going to travel and live anywhere that we want in the world, we're probably going to have to homeschool. And so we decided to homeschool our kids, and I designed intentionally a business that had low overhead, didn't require a big staff, and was virtual. I could literally wholesale land, do lease options, wholesale houses from just a laptop from anywhere in the world, from Prague, from Spain, from France, from Italy, and we've done that all, okay? So for me, it starts with my why, all right? And then from there, there's 3 things that feed my why. Freedom, time, and money. All right, I'm going to walk through these 3 things here and explain the automated wholesaling system and what it means for you, okay? So, what is your why? All right, so the first thing that you're going to need is marketing. I talk about this all the time. We're not in the real estate business. We are in the marketing business, okay? The second thing you're going to need is automation. You need to have systems. Third thing is delegation. Starts with marketing, goes to automation, and goes to delegation. And the way we kind of do this, it all kind of circles around each other, starting with marketing, okay, goes to automation, then goes over to delegation. All right? Whatever we can't automate, we're going to delegate. Now, what happens when you don't have automation? What happens when you don't have, let's go back to what happens when you don't have marketing? Well, you're not going to have any leads. What happens when you don't have systems in place and good automation? Well, you're going to be wasting time and money, right? What happens if you have marketing, you have good systems, but you don't have delegation, you can't get people to help you with this stuff? You're going to be doing it all yourself, and you're going to be working too hard. Now, what happens when you are getting the marketing right? Well, you're going to get leads, right? What happens when you get the automation and the systems right? Well, you're going to get to work on your biz, not in it. And what happens when you get the delegation part right? Well, you get done for you in spite of you. Now, let's talk about the actual how. Inside of each of these things, we're going to walk through and talk about how this all actually works and what does it look like. So before we get out into the how on the outer rim of the diagram, I want to talk about the why a little bit more here, because this is really about living your vision, whatever it is for your life, and designing a business around that, right? And so for me, on the money side of things, man, I was on the verge of bankruptcy, losing my own house, to now making over 7 figures a year in this business. The freedom for me means leaving cubic hell when I was stuck in corporate world and I hated my job, to traveling around the world with my family and in our RV, doing deals from anywhere in the world and making a difference, right? From being a failure, really making a ton of mistakes, being a disappointment, to being a hero to my family and my kids and making a difference in thousands of people's lives. Right now, my podcast is listened to in over 170 different countries. It blows me away. We get tens of thousands of downloads a month, and it's been quite a ride. So, what are your whys? I want you to think about that and write that down, and maybe even put it into a diagram like this. What are your whys? What really drives you to want to succeed in this business? All right. Now, we're going to talk about the how right now on the outside of this. Now, in each of these sections of the diagram are 3 components that you need to have in order to be successful in it, right? And so under marketing, it all starts with market research. All right, then it goes into knowing what's working now. All right, then it goes into having a marketing plan and a scorecard. You have to have all 3 of those components in order for this to work. Now, in automation, I talk a lot about a concept I called silos. It's about creating systems around your business and your marketing and all that, and siloing it. In other words, making it like in its own grain silo where you don't focus on anything else until that thing is 100% complete. And to do that, you need the 3 S's: simple, system. You can't scale anything until you have a system. And you can't build a system unless it's simple. So the really important thing that we talk about in this is creating a simple, breaking everything down into simplest components, building a system around that, and then scaling it. And doing that in silos, not trying to do 5 things at the same time, but only focusing on one thing until that's 100%. You've built the system around that, and you scale it, then you move on to the next thing. So that's really, really important of that. The second part of automation that is really critical is having a good CRM or database. And then finally, under automation, and if you don't, your business, if you don't get this, you're hosed. Your business is directly, your success in your business is directly proportional to the number of offers that you make and the follow-up that you do. So you have to make sure you have systems and automation that makes offers and does all your follow-up for you. Okay? Really, really important. Now let's look at delegation. Delegation starts with good VAs, virtual assistants. Okay? You need to know how to find them, how to hire them, and how to train them. A lot of people struggle with this, which blows my mind. This is really, really easy. It's not that hard. Then if you're going to do automated wholesaling, you're also going to have a local team. Okay? Real simple. This could be realtors, local wholesalers, etc. Title companies, etc., right? And then finally, VAs to local team. You need to know your KPIs, your key performance indicators, which means you need to be focusing on your revenue generating activities. You have to be focusing on your revenue generating activities. And guys, there it is. It's so simple. Starts with marketing, okay? Knowing your market, knowing what's working now, and then creating a plan and a scorecard, and then building your systems in silos, simple system scale, getting a really solid CRM and database, and I talk a lot about that, that will do that stuff for you, and then creates the offers and does the follow-up for you, done for you in spite of you, right? Then whatever you can't automate and systemize, you delegate, okay? And you get good virtual assistants. You need a good, strong local team of wholesalers or realtors. And when you're flipping land, you need a good, solid team locally that can do your paperwork, can take pictures of the property, can get your documents notarized and file them, etc., right? And all of this focusing, making sure that your team is focused on the highest revenue generating activities, knowing your numbers, knowing your KPIs, okay? And when you have a fully automated wholesaling system, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to honestly right now pause this video and grade yourself on how you're doing with each of these things, okay? I want you to think about this and look at it. You know, do you know your market research? Do you know your market well? Maybe you do. So if you think you do, go ahead and color that yellow. Do you really know what's working now? Yeah, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Give that a yellow. I want you to honestly evaluate yourself. Now, do you have a marketing plan? Most people don't, okay? So give yourself a red. What I want you to do is go through each of these things here and grade yourself on how well you're doing. A red is not good, a yellow is, yeah, maybe, and a green is good. So when it comes to automation, are your silos done? Are your systems built? Do you kind of know what's going on, or are things falling through the cracks? Do you have a good database? Maybe you do, but you just don't know how to use it yet, right? It's just confusing and it's not very good. Are you making offers? Well, chances are you probably aren't. Most people aren't. And I'll talk about this later on. Most people are stuck with not making offers. And why, I don't know. Maybe you've got good VAs and they're doing some work for you. Give yourself a green. All right, now if you don't have colors, by the way, you can do the 0, minus, or plus. But I want you to honestly evaluate yourself with where you're at on each of these things. You know, do you have good VAs? Do you have a good local team doing this for you? Maybe you do, but, you know. And do you know what your highest revenue generating activities are? Are you tracking your KPIs? I want you to honestly look at this diagram and grade yourself on each of these things, okay? Now, do that right now, please. Pause this video and do it right now, and let's talk about it, where you are on this, okay? All right, so did you do it? The greens, yellows, reds? I got some questions for you. What was your predominant color? Were you mostly red, mostly yellow, mostly green? What were you, right? Are you living your vision right now? Are you living your why? And how much, this is really important, guys, listen to this. How much is it costing you to not know this stuff right now? Aren't you sick and tired yet of spending more money on education than you're actually making? That's why I love this diagram, because it really forces you to be honest and look at yourself and say, well, I need some work with this. I need help. Okay? All right, so now my plan is to walk through, there's 9 things in here that you need to have a successful automated wholesaling business. And I'm going to pick 3 of them, one from each category, to help you get to 6 figures a year the fastest way possible, right? Just don't have the time to go through each 9, but if I were to pick 3 of them, I would pick marketing plan and scorecard, number 1. All right, I would pick offers and follow-up, number 2. And I would pick good VAs, how to find, hire, and train them, number 3. Okay, so I'm going to go from here, and then I'm going to jump over to there, and then we're going to help you figure out how you can actually start living your vision as well. Now, the next step, guys, I want you to go to the insights and actions in this handout, okay? We're talking about replacing your income plan. I want you to answer this question right now. What are the 3 changes you already know you need to make right now in your business? What are the 3 changes you know that you need to make right now in this business? So go ahead and stop this video, fill out those 3 columns, those 3 cells here. What are the 3 changes you need to make in your business right now that you know you need to do? As we go through the outer segments here, I'm going to be asking you each time, what are the 3 things you need to do right now to create your marketing plan? What are the 3 things you need to do to start making more offers and following up? And then what are the 3 things you're going to do to find your VAs? So hopefully by the end of this video series here, you're going to have all, 12 of these cells filled out, so you actually know what you need to do when these videos are done. I don't want you to be overwhelmed with like, oh my, I got to do all this stuff. This is insane. But just breaking it down, 3 things that you have to do next. And when you look at this, you can actually start implementing this right after these videos are done. Does that make sense? So this is your action plan to success. I want you to fill this out so you can actually start, you have a roadmap of yourself, for yourself to go through, okay? Okay, so I'm back. Did you do it? Did you color the outside rims? Did you think about what are the next 3 things I know I need to do right now in my business? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to jump through each of these 3 things, the 3 most important parts of these 9 steps, so that you can actually start replacing your income, making 6 figures a year in your business right now from anywhere in the world. Okay, we're going to be talking about marketing plan, offers, and finding, hiring, and training good virtual assistants. You ready to jump in?